Hola, hola, mi gente linda. It is impeachment day. And yes, this is the second impeachment. It's absolutely crazy. And it feels like deja vu because barely a year ago, the same man was getting impeached. But here we are again. So what I want to do for you is break down exactly how this is all going to play out and explain to you where we are and what you can expect in the next couple of weeks. So on Monday, February 8th, yesterday, the Senate Majority Leader, the Democrat, Chuck Schumer, met with Senate Minority Leader, Mitch McConnell, to agree on how this is all going to play out. And basically, the shortest version of what happened is that this is going to be a shorter trial. The last impeachment of Donald Trump lasted about 2 weeks. Today, Tuesday, we had some initial presentations from both sides, and that lasted about a little bit less than 4 hours. And I will explain a little bit more in detail about how that worked out. Wednesday, tomorrow, February 10th, is when we're going to see arguments. That's really the meat of the trial, and that is going to last a couple of days. So the House managers, these are the prosecutors in this case, go first, and they have up to 16 hours to make their case. And this is going to last 2 days. Then Trump's team gets the same amount of time to present their defense. Last time, they didn't use all of their allotted time. And like I said at the beginning, this time things are a lot shorter. So like I said, each side is going to get 16 hours. The last Trump impeachment, each side got 24 hours. So this is a shorter trial. There's going to be a break from sundown on Friday until Sunday because one of Trump's lawyers is Jewish and he observes Sabbath. So there's going to be a break for Shabbat and they will come back, on Sunday. So once each side, the impeachment managers, the prosecutors make their case, and then Trump's defense makes their case, there will be a recess on Friday or by end of day Sunday. And then the senators will have a total of 4 hours combined to ask questions to either the House managers or the defense. Last impeachment trial, they had 16 hours over 2 days for their questions. So like I said, this is moving rapidísimo to speed things along. And then after the Q&A, there's a vote to see if they're going to bring any witnesses. And depending on whether or not that passes or not, then let's say it doesn't pass, each team gets 2 hours to make closing arguments. Now, after the closing arguments is when we have the vote, whether they're going to convict on the single article of impeachment. And that requires a 2/3 majority. So in this case, 67 votes. Let me give you a little bit more information about what happened yesterday, Monday, and then I'll give you the meat of what happened today, Tuesday, February 9th. So yesterday, Trump's lawyers said that the Democrats were playing political theater and that they had Trump derangement syndrome and that they're just basically out to get the former president. They kept saying that this was unconstitutional because Trump is no longer in office, and said that nothing Trump said caused the crowd of his supporters to storm the Capitol. So they explained that they did this, so the mob did this of their own accord and for their own reasons. On the flip side, the House managers said that the defense's argument was wholly without merit. And in their briefing that they submitted, they wrote that the former president has no valid excuse or defense for his actions. Now, I told you a little bit earlier about the possibility of bringing witnesses and that this is going to be up for a vote. There is a little bit of reluctancy from some Democrats, from Democratic senators to call witnesses because this might make the trial longer. Last time there were no witnesses. And that is going to prevent the passing of legislation like COVID relief or approving President Biden's cabinet picks. So that's a little bit of an explanation of why there might be some reluctancy from some senators, especially on the Democratic side, to call out witnesses. But we will not know about any of that until we get there. We get to that vote, which will probably happen around Sunday or Monday. What happened today, Tuesday, February 9th? We had the presentations from both sides, and it lasted a little bit less than 4 hours, with the House managers presenting their case for the impeachment and then Trump's defense attorneys. And it was a lot of discussion about whether this is constitutional or not, because Trump is no longer in office. Now, the lead House manager, Jamie Raskin, spent 15 minutes or so of his presentation with a video that showed Trump's words at the rally that same day, January 6th, with videos of the mob storming the Capitol. I will include a link of that in my stories, and I will put it in my highlights, or if you're watching this on YouTube, it'll be underneath the description of this video. But it is a very, very powerful video. So I recommend that you watch it, but it is just be cautious because there's a lot of violence in there.
The Constitution says you have to protect our country and you have to protect our Constitution, and you can't vote on fraud. And fraud breaks up everything, doesn't it? When you catch somebody in a fraud, you're allowed to go by very different rules. So I hope Mike has the courage to do what he has to do. We fight. We fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore. So we're going to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue. I love Pennsylvania. And we're going to the Capitol. And we're going to try and give our Republicans, the weak ones, because the strong ones don't need any of our help. We're going to try and give them the kind of pride and boldness that they need to take back our country.
And then another House representative, in this case, Joe Neguse, I think that's how you pronounce his last name, spent a lot of his presentation making the case that there is actually precedent for holding an impeachment trial after the person is out of office. There is precedent for impeachments of Senators William Blount in 1797 and Secretary of War William Belknap in 1876. And basically, House Representative Joe Neguse said that presidents can't inflame insurrections in their final weeks and then walk away like nothing happened. And yet that is the rule that President Trump asks you to adopt. Me personally, I've been really frustrated with these people that don't think that you should be able to impeach somebody or charge him with crimes because on the last days of office, because that basically means that they can do whatever they want right before they leave, and then they're not going to be held accountable. And that definitely shouldn't be the case. My biggest personally thing for this trial is to prevent Trump from running for office ever again. He needs to be held accountable for what happened in the Capitol on January 6th. Another thing that the House managers spent a lot of time doing was reminding the senators that were around them, who are actually not allowed to leave their seats. They're not allowed to check their phones or anything. So they have to be completely focused on the trial, of what they were witness to. They were there when this was happening. They were hiding. They were running away from people that wanted to kill them. So let me read to you a quote from Representative David Cicilline. The President of the United States sided with the insurrectionists. He celebrated their cause. He validated their attack. He told them, remember this day forever. Hours after they marched through these halls looking to assassinate Vice President Pence, the Speaker of the House, and any of us they could find. Okay, so that was the case from the House Impeachment Managers. What did Trump's defense team say? Well, they rambled, and you're going to love this list. They said that senators are good people. They said that you shouldn't silence free and robust speech, and that's what the House managers are trying to do by impeaching the president for inciting a mob. They said that the article of impeachment is flawed because it's not broken into multiple articles. They said that the House managers are only doing this because they're afraid of Donald Trump running for office again. They said that this isn't about Donald Trump, that it's about abusing the Constitution for political gain. They said that the Democrats have been trying to get Donald Trump since 2016, that the Democrats are approaching this like some sort of blood sport, and that they're not going to be in power forever, and that they're going to be facing impeachment as a result of this, that convicting the president for inciting an insurrection would tear this country apart like we've only seen one other time in our history. These people apparently were in some sort of cave underground a little bit over a month ago when a mob of white supremacist crazy people stormed the Capitol and tried to murder the Vice President, Speaker of the House, and God knows who else. And they also said that this is not a trial because it's not being presided over by the Chief Justice. Now, the reason why this trial is not being presided by the Chief Justice is because the Chief Justice only has to preside a trial when the current president is on trial. Since the dude already left, he doesn't have to do that. And what's happening right now is perfectly constitutional. So that was so bad that even Republican Senator John Cornyn told reporters that the president's lawyers just rambled on and on. I've seen a lot of lawyers and a lot of arguments, and that was not one of the finest I've seen. After the presentations finished at about 5 p.m. Eastern time, then they moved to a vote to proceed with the impeachment trial. And in this case, the total vote count was 56 people in favor of moving forward with the trial and 44 to not do that. Now, that included 6 Republicans, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski from Alaska, Mitt Romney, Ben Sasse, Patrick Toomey, and this time they were joined by a 6th Senator, Bill Cassidy from Louisiana. So Bill Cassidy had not voted in favor of moving forward with the trial the last time that this happened in late January. But this time he went along, saying that Trump's lawyers were disorganized and random, and they talked about many things, but they didn't talk about the issue at hand. So that is where we are right now. Tomorrow, Wednesday, February 10th, is when we get to the meat of the trial. The House Impeachment Managers go first, and they get up to 16 hours to present their case. Obviously, these are not consecutive hours. They get to go home and sleep and take breaks. And then it'll be Trump's defense team's turn to present their defense. After that is when we might see a vote to whether or not to call witnesses. We'll get there in a few days, but I hope this was useful so you could understand everything that's been happening with this impeachment trial and what to expect over the next couple of days. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, and I will see you back tomorrow.